I want to give you a chance, Congressman. You and I have known each other for a long time, to clarify controversial remarks you said at a Governor Cuomo rally in New York last week. You said, and I'll read it specifically, some of them, you're referring to Republicans out there, believe that slavery isn't over and that they won the Civil War. All right, what did you mean by that?
I meant that they used to call themselves Dixiecrats. These were slave-holding states. They've been frustrated with the Emancipation Proclamation. They turned over, became Republicans. Then they became Tea Party people. And these are the people that are trying to frustrate people from voting, changing the voting rights that we fought so hard for. And all I'm saying is, if you want to challenge the statistics, find out where the slave-holding states are, find out whether they were Dixiecrats, went Republican, find out where the Tea Party is. And I'm just saying that it's unfortunate America doesn't deal with the problem of racism, but until we acknowledge that it exists and fight hard to eradicate it, then we still got to be frustrated by people. They all come from the South, and they all have these feelings about superiority, and that's true whether you're picking cotton or whether you're president of the United States.
So you're doubling down on those remarks. You're not walking away from them because, as you know, they caused quite a stir, raising the specter of racism out there. And I want to point out to you, an African-American Republican was elected the United States Senator in South Carolina, Tim Scott.
We're not talking about America. We're not talking about the advancements that we've made, a black president, the explosive number of African-American and others that are now in the Congress and holding. We're talking about a cancer that we have in the United States of America. America knows who they are. They know how they feel. And we're talking about dealing with them. And quite frankly, the healthiest thing that could happen to this Republican majority is that they don't have to have the tail wagging the dog. They don't need the Tea Party, and maybe, just maybe, and getting ready for 2016, they can start dealing with the issue that Americans are concerned about in terms of creating the jobs, improving the infrastructure, education, research, development, livable wages, and they don't have to deal with those handful of people, and we all know who they are and where they're from. So maybe slavery was the wrong word, but racial superiority, unfortunately, is a disease that a handful of people have, and they were holding back the Republican majority in the House of Representatives. Maybe now the Republican leadership doesn't need them and can go along with people who want to improve the quality of life for all Americans and not those who just look like them.
You want to name any names?
No, listen, the whole world knows who they are, and certainly Americans do, and certainly Speaker Boehner does. And we got to have immigration that's based on what's good for the country, not good for people who come just from Europe. And so all of these things now we have an opportunity to change, and we don't have Obama to kick around anymore. He does have the veto, but I think what he wants to do is to make certain that we find a level playing field where we can be productive, not as Republicans and Democrats, but as Americans. And the Republicans have an opportunity now to say something positive about something, whether it's immigration, infrastructure, education, minimum wage. They haven't done a thing except take advantage of the frustrations that American voters rightfully had.
Charlie Rangel speaking his mind as he always does. Charlie Rangel, thanks very much for joining us. I will point out there aren't a whole lot of so-called Dixiecrats or people who believe in slavery in a lot of these states like Maryland or Massachusetts or Illinois, where the Republicans won the governor's races. So it sort of suggests that maybe there are some racist elements out there, and all of us know there are some. But to blame the Republican wins on these a small group
I am not blaming the Republicans, and thank God for the progress we made. But there are people that still carry the Confederate flag in memory of those who lost, and they refuse to believe it. And you know it, I know it, everyone knows it. It has nothing to do but with a small group of people that a lot of people, and it sounds like we're going in that direction, are afraid to talk about it. They're in America. and they are responsible for holding back in a lot of progress that we should have been making in the immigration law 10, 20 years ago. And we're not doing it because of the attitudes about a certain number of people as to how they see the complexion of the United States changing. Some of them have said that we're losing our country as we know it. And you and I know exactly what they mean. They're not the same shade of the people that was here when the Pilgrims came.